Hey guys, your reading story this week is Can't You Make Them Behave, King George? As always, I am going to go through every vocabulary word with you. I want you to take out a piece of paper and a pencil. And as we go through each slide, I want you to write down the word, the definition, as well as the word used in a sentence. You will have a vocabulary quiz on Friday, so you want to make sure you take really, really good notes and you study up. At the end of each definition and example, I want you to hit the pause button before you move on to the next slide so that you have plenty of time to write it down. Let's get going. Your first vocabulary word is rebellious. Rebellious. And that means resisting treatment or management. It also means to fight back. So if somebody is being rebellious, it means they're fighting back against something. If I wanted to use that in a sentence, I might say, the rebellious troops fought in battle against those still loyal to the king. I want you to go ahead, pause this video, write the definition and the sentence before moving on. Your next vocabulary word is objected. Objected. If you object something, you oppose it. You disagree with it. It also means to argue against. If I wanted to use the word objected in a sentence, I might say the colonists objected having to pay taxes. So they argued against having to pay taxes. They opposed it. They did not agree with it. That's what an objection is. I often think of like a court case where somebody will say, I object. That means they disagree with what is being said. Pause this video and then move on to the next one after you write it down. Your next vocabulary word is benefit. Benefit. And I know you've heard this word before. If you benefit from something, then it means it produces good results. Benefit is also helpful. So it will benefit you to study for your test. Benefit also means to be useful. An example is he has benefited from his experiences in the military. So benefited is just the past tense of benefit. And it was helpful to have experience in the military. It was useful. Go ahead, pause this, and write this stuff down before moving on to the next word. Moving on, our next word is repeal. Repeal. That might be a new word for you. If you repeal something, it means to call off or cancel. So you're canceling something. It also means to take it back. An example is the king repealed the Stamp Act after the colonists boycotted it. So he took it back. He no longer wanted to have the Stamp Act because the colonists boycotted it. They disagreed with it. Pause the video. You know the drill. Your next word is contrary. Contrary. That means the opposite. It can also mean being in conflict with each other. So you say one thing and then you say something the opposite of it and it's contrary to what you said the first time. An example of contrary in a sentence is the test will not be easy. On the contrary, it will be extremely difficult. So it's not easy, it's actually the opposite and it is difficult. Pause the video and when you're ready, we'll move on. Your next vocabulary word is midst. Midst. Might be different for you too. If something is in the midst of something, it's in the middle of. Midst is the middle. You can remember mid and middle. An example of that word in a sentence is in the midst of the test, the fire alarm went off. So right in the middle of the test, the fire alarm went off. How crazy would that be? Go ahead and pause before moving on. Moving on to your 7th vocabulary word, we have temporary. Temporary. If something is temporary, it lasts for a limited time. It does not last forever. Not permanent. It is not permanent. So it is not a Sharpie marker. It's a Crayola marker. An example of the word temporary in a sentence, Advil will only give you temporary relief from your headache. So people will take medicine because they have a headache, and it will only give you a limited amount of relief. It's not permanent. It won't fix it permanently. Pause the video before moving on. Your 8th vocabulary word is advantage. Advantage. Advantage means a benefit or a gain. Also means having the upper hand. So if you've got the upper hand, it means you've got a better chance of something. An example of that word in a sentence is higher ground gave the enemy the advantage. So the enemy had a better chance of winning because of the higher ground. They had a leg up on the other people. Pause the video before moving to the next one. Next, we have previously. Previously. The word previously means going before in time or order. So previously is not the present. It happened in the past. Prior. Prior just means the past. It happened before something. An example of that word in a sentence, she had been married previously, so this is her second marriage. So she had been married before, and now she's married to somebody else. Pause the video, and then we'll move on. Your 10th and final vocabulary word is prohibit. Prohibit. Prohibit means to forbid, to not allow something. It means to prevent from doing something. An example of prohibit in a sentence is the prison's electric fence prohibits prisoners from escaping. So that electric fence forbids prisoners from escaping. They cannot get out. All right, this is the end of the video. As you know, you have a vocabulary quiz on Friday, just as another reminder. Make sure you take really good notes. If you have to go back to any of the slides, please do that. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Remember to pause this video before this slide goes off. Rock out, guys.